A drenched woman and a kid show up at the Tungton shelter. / pure underdog vibes. / Helen knows the owner is just a greedy NPC. 1 silver coin later, the owner's energy completely flips. Suddenly, there's plenty of room. Money is the ultimate cheat code here. Alone at last, the vibe turns dark. Rowan's big, innocent eyes are asking for parents who aren't coming back. The trauma is real. Helen knows the brutal truth, but can't say it. She chooses a mercy lie because the kid isn't ready for this. "Go to sleep," she whispers. Then the coughing starts. It's blood. This woman is literally running on 1 HP. Her willpower finally snaps. She's gone before sunrise. Rowan wakes up to a crimson nightmare. Everything is officially cooked. The shelter owner is a total villain. / he's just annoyed about the mess while Rowan is drowning in grief. / zero empathy aura. Then the mistress spots Rowan's hair. He looks exactly like Pauline. A twisted plan starts brewing in her head. "Congrats, you're a mom now." / they're being forced into a fake family to scam the system. / absolute menace behavior. This shelter isn't a sanctuary. It's a straight-up money-squeezing farm disguised as a charity. They're farming donations and government cash. They force kids to beg for fees. Pauline and Rowan are now the ultimate street grind duo just to survive the night. Rowan is shell-shocked, staring into the abyss. Pauline sees the trauma and realizes the kid has completely checked out. She drops some real wisdom. / the past is behind you. Focus on the glow-up. / she's a real one for this. He takes her hand and locks in. Survival turns into a real bond. They're officially playing the mother-son role for real. 5 years of street-level aura farming fly by. Rowan is 8 now, and they've survived the absolute worst of the grind together. But Rowan catches a rumor that hits hard. Pauline got a maid gig at a noble house. A real future, but he's devastated. He plays it cool like a total Sigma. "I'm happy for you," he says, but his eyes are snitching on his heart. The tears hit. Everyone he loves keeps leaving. His heart can't tell the difference between a better life and being abandoned. Pauline pulls him close for one last lesson. You're only alone if your heart feels empty. Deep lore for the soul. Close your eyes and feel our connection. She tells him she'll always be right there. The ultimate emotional power-up. Hours later, Rowan is alone in the woods, testing her words. Eyes shut, hand over heart. Then something insane happens. Mana awakening. Suddenly, the world goes transparent. He's seeing the mana matrix of the entire universe. Absolute high aura moment. He feels his family's light burning inside him. Years pass, and even without Pauline, Rowan is built different now. He's solo leveling at the shelter, hoping Pauline is out there winning. He's back to the grind with a secret power. Rowan is the top earner. / his charisma aura is so high, the director promotes him to the prime real estate zone. Enter Blake, the Zone 1 leader. He sees Rowan's potential and takes the kid under his wing. Mentor vibes unlocked. Blake finally names the swirling lights Rowan sees. It's mana. Our boy isn't crazy. He's a natural-born prodigy. Back on the grind, Rowan is out-trend everyone. His warmth isn't a performance. It's genuine soul energy that people can't resist. The ladies are raining coins into his bucket. But Rowan is multitasking like a literal god, half present, half training. He's practicing his dual vision, seeing the physical world and the mana flow simultaneously. This is high-level mental training. Success. / He locks in both layers with crystal clarity. / A small smile because he knows he's cracked at this game. The drain is heavy, though. / Blake spots the overflowing bucket and knows Rowan is a hidden gem in the rough. Success breeds jealousy, Blake warns. Rowan nods, but he's already sensed something suspicious in the crowd. Yesterday, he spotted 2 men with impossibly bright mana. Their aura was even more condensed and cleaner than Blake's. They didn't walk. They literally jumped over buildings and vanished. / High-level players are officially watching our boy. Rowan keeps his mana vision a secret. Information is his only leverage. He's not giving it away for free. But as he heads back, the trap is set. They aren't hiding in the shadows anymore. The hunters have arrived. Is Rowan ready for a real fight? Rowan's 8, alone, and the ops are closing in with perfect coordination. This isn't a coincidence. These mana users are hunting him down a dark alley. His pulse is redlining as his thoughts start to fracture. Is this the end? He just needs to hit base camp. The entrance is right there. Suddenly, Blake enters the chat moving at speeds that should be illegal. Physics? Never heard of her. This man is moving way too fast for a human. He treats gravity like a loose suggestion, scooping Rowan up mid-sprint. They launch into the sky, clearing rooftops in a single bound. But the hunters are still on their tail. They aren't losing them that easily. This is high-stakes parkour. Blake shifts into another gear, yelling at Rowan to hold the bag and not drop a single coin. We need to eat tonight. He looks down expecting tears, but Rowan has this vacant 1,000-yard stare. Is he completely cooked? Blake thinks he's gone catatonic from fear and rushes him to the shelter. Be safe, he says. But Rowan wasn't frozen in terror. His brain had just detonated from what he saw. He wasn't scared. He was downloading the ultimate buff. Watching Blake at full power was a literal cheat code. For the first time ever, Rowan could see the invisible. He saw exactly how mana flows through a human body during movement. This wasn't theory. It was pure visual gold. He watched the mana surge into the legs for a jump and flood the arms for power. He counted every precise burst it took to clear the rooftops. He cataloged the entire sequence like a pro gamer analyzing a frame-perfect run. Safe inside, he decides to test his new vision. He draws mana from the air, circulating it through his veins to see where it flows or pushes back. He starts condensing it, getting ready to release a power he shouldn't possess yet. This little boy wasn't supposed to try this for years, but he's already out-Trin. Now that our boy has the basics down, he's dying to cook something serious. The potential here is absolutely insane. Will he actually pull it off? Before he can move, the other beggar kids trickle back, totally clueless. Then Rowan Sr. shows up and tells everyone to chill. It's just a routine inspection from the zone leaders. Everyone go to your rooms and stay low-key. But there's one exception. Rowan is getting relocated. The quiet kid follows his senior through the halls until they stop for a private talk with a massive tank-class guy. Something big is happening, and Rowan is right in the middle. Rowan's too far to hear, but then he has a galaxy brain idea. He pumps mana into his ears, and boom, crystal clear audio. It's like he just popped in AirPods. he realizes they're actually talking about him behind his back.
He's moving to the main building.
Even the senior is confused, guessing the director just likes the kid's vibe. Honestly, can you blame him? This shelter boy has way too much aura for someone his age. He's built different. Plus, after those sketchy union guys were tailing him, he needs a safe house. We don't know who the union is yet, but the way they say the name, it's clearly the final boss faction of this world. The plot thickens. Rowan connects the dots. Those were the ops from earlier. The big guy leads him deeper into the main building until they meet Amy at the front desk. This is where his new life officially begins. No more street life. The big guy just says, "He's yours now," and dips. Awkward silence. Amy asks his age, and Rowan says 10, casually adding that he's completely illiterate. Amy isn't even shocked. She expected this from a dorm kid. She tells him she's teaching him everything starting tomorrow. He can call her teacher or big sister. Then she actually looks at him and realizes his face card never declines. "Damn, you're actually really handsome for a dorm kid," she admits. This kid is already pulling baddies left and right, and he's not even trying. Rowan just asks why he even needs to read. Amy's low-key annoyed, but explains the mission. Knowledge is the only way out of this life. Reading events are high society flexes, where kids perform for nobles and patrons. It's a massive deal for the elite. Rowan is scheduled to perform at one of the shelter's biggest events. The pressure is officially on the table. If he slays, he might get picked for a private reading, the literal speed run to being adopted by a wealthy sponsor. For a kid who can't read a single word, yeah, no pressure at all. This is a total make or break. Rowan has zero reaction to the info dump. Amy's confused by his stoic energy, but pats his head and leads him to his new room. He meets the rest of the squad, and the vibe is surprisingly chill for once. As he unpacks into his first ever private closet, one of the boys looks at him like he's a legendary pull from a gacha game. He can't believe Rowan came from the dorms. The curiosity in the room is peaking. Meet the roster. Theo, Noah, Hayden, and Lily. Theo gives the welcome speech. No bullying and no more begging for scraps. They're a team now, and they're actually hyped to have him on board. New squad unlocked. This crew runs the library, organizing books and helping guests. Rowan is part of the squad now, but that night, his brain is buzzing. He can't sleep. He's thinking about the power locked inside all those books. He remembers Pauline saying books are the best gift for a curious mind. He feels a deep wave of gratitude before the scene cuts to the library. Rowan has been grinding his reading practice like a true sweat. Amy asks to see his progress, and he drops a massive stack of books on the table. She realizes every single one of them is a fairy tale. He's speedrunning the entire children's section in record time. She tells him to move to the adult section in Zone 2, giving him some rare praise for his insane learning speed. Rowan is hyped. He's practically speed walking to the next level of knowledge. The grind never stops. He browses the shelves until one title stops him cold. The Birth of the Grafton Kingdom in the Union. There's that word again. The Union. The secret name the adults only whisper in the shadows. Time for lore. He sees a map of the entire continent. Long ago, Grafton won a massive war, and the king created the Union to keep the peace. 6 regions, 1 kingdom. Supposedly, they're the good guys, the world's peacekeepers. It's been peace for 200 years. So Rowan is confused. If the Union are the good guys, why did Blake run like his life depended on it? Something in this history book isn't matching the reality. Maybe they hate beggars? No, that doesn't fit. Then a darker thought hits. What if the shelter and the Union are actually enemies? And why is the shelter gatekeeping the truth about that day? The mystery is deep. A few days pass, and Rowan settles into his routine perfectly. He's playing it cool, but behind the scenes, he's still practicing his mana control while no one is looking. He's always one step ahead. He's using mana to cheese his cleaning chores, making the physical labor effortless. Back on the streets, he had to meditate just to move a spark. Now, he's casually circulating mana while walking and reading. This is a massive glow-up. His mana still scatters sometimes, which is mid, but he's not stressing. One step at a time. His potential is skyrocketing every single day he spends in that library. Suddenly, the kids are rounded up. The vice director starts dropping names for the next big reading event. Theo, Lily, and Noah are all in. Then she gets to Rowan's name and hesitates. Is he ready? He just finished Fairy Tales, so putting him in front of nobles is a reach. But then she looks at his face and realizes he's too pretty to hide in the back. His face card alone will make the event a hit. She decides he'll just observe this time to catch the vibe. He's there for the atmosphere. But we all know Rowan is about to outshine everyone. If Rowan starts aura farming during the event, how high does he scale compared to the Union's top elites? The jealous side characters were seething, praying for his downfall, because the new guy had too much aura. But event day came, and Rowan stepped out looking like a total final boss. Even Theo was stunned. Rowan kept it cool while the VIPs filed in, but one noblewoman completely froze when she saw him. She recognized that face. She'd seen Rowan back when he was just a stray kid begging for scraps. Even as a beggar, his visuals were top tier, and she'd never forgotten him. Rowan recognized his former benefactor immediately and thanked her. Her name was Caroline, and she was already his #1 stan. She started glazing him to the vice director, obsessed with how the beautiful boy she saw last winter had somehow evolved into a literal god. Rowan's glow-up was officially legendary. When the director mentioned Rowan just learned to read, Caroline lost it and demanded a live performance. The director tried to gatekeep, saying he was only there to watch. But the hype was too high to ignore. The director caved, and Rowan finally opened his mouth to read. The entire room went dead silent. His voice was pure velvet, warm, rhythmic, and hypnotic. The noblewomen were absolutely cooked. Hearts racing, eyes watering, they were transcending. When he finished, the room erupted. He didn't just read, he completely out-trended every other performer there. Rowan stayed humble, giving all the credit to the director, which only made the crowd simp harder. Caroline was already booking her front row seat for the next day. The director didn't even hesitate to say yes. Later, Rowan was back in the library, mana farming. He wasn't looking for stories anymore. He was hunting for high-level mana cultivation techniques. Blake crept up behind him, noticing Rowan was holding a book about life's pleasures. Rowan spun around, acting totally startled like a pro. It was all a front, though. Rowan had sensed his presence from a mile away. Blake was actually there to give him props because the rumors of Rowan's legendary reading were spreading like wildfire. Rowan asked about the Union situation, and Blake confirmed they were still causing trouble. He was planning to crash out on them soon, and Rowan gave him that "I believe in you" energy. Rowan's support hit different, making even a warrior like Blake feel invincible. Blake admitted he'd miss the next session, but Rowan told him the grind comes first. He told Blake to stay safe, which caught the warrior off guard. It was a rare moment of genuine concern before they went their separate ways. Blake pointed at the spicy book one last time before disappearing. Alone in the quiet, Rowan's mind turned to combat. He wondered how he'd stack up against a real mana master. He decided to test his current output, channeling mana through his arms, but he overcooked it. With a sickening crunch, he accidentally ripped the thick book clean in half with zero effort. The raw power surge was terrifying. Rowan looked at the destroyed book and realized his physical stats were reaching a dangerous level. He was officially becoming a problem. Next thing we know, the vice director summoned him, looking completely stressed. The truth came out. Rowan had effectively destroyed the competition. Every other reader was now irrelevant. The noble women were boycotting everyone else. They only wanted Rowan. The vice director was literally growing gray hairs trying to manage the insane demand for our boy. She was basically begging him to carry the entire business on his back. Rowan agreed without even asking for a raise. But then, the director pulled a massive curveball. She announced the special reader for the next event, and everyone expected Rowan. Instead, she called Theo. The entire room hit a hard lag. Even Theo couldn't believe it. Theo pulled Rowan aside afterward, admitting that Rowan's talent was on a whole different level. He knew he was just a placeholder for the real GOAT. It was a wholesome moment, but it confirmed that the hierarchy had shifted. Rowan watched him leave, feeling a small pang of loneliness, but he didn't have time to mope. He was put on double duty, morning and afternoon sessions. The vice director felt guilty, but the simping noblewomen had created a supply and demand crisis. Rowan didn't complain. He saw this as the ultimate EXP farm. He was genuinely grateful that his voice could carry this much weight in the world. His only condition? Short breaks to recharge his emotional mana. He headed to the garden, finally alone enough to start his real training. He began experimenting with his internal circuit, moving mana through his muscles and joints like a liquid current. He was rewiring his entire body for peak performance. Then he realized the secret. Mana doesn't follow thoughts, it follows will. He gave a direct command, and his entire body flared with a blinding light. He was building a foundation that wouldn't crumble. He'd seen others burn out by rushing their growth, and he wasn't about to make that mistake. He remembered Blake carrying him when he was weak. Those days were over. The Union thugs were probably still looking for him, but they weren't ready for this version of Rowan. He started theorizing about a forbidden technique. What if he didn't just use his own mana? What if he could tap into the world itself? He realized his voice was already doing this, vibrating with the air around him. If he could shape external mana, his power ceiling would literally disappear. He focused his will on a single leaf. It didn't just move, it defied gravity, hovering in the air like magic. Rowan had just unlocked the secret to environmental manipulation. Next announcement time, and the director picked Lily. The crowd clapped, but the vibe was off. Everyone knew who the real star was, and Lily knew it too. She stood there, face turning beet red, staring at Rowan. She was clearly about to fold and confess her feelings right then and there. But the other kids started shouting, confused why the cash cow Rowan kept getting snubbed for the big stage. The tension is peaking. Is the director hiding Rowan to protect him? Or is something darker going on? The vice director is straight up gatekeeping. Lily's big moment? Totally cooked. Everyone's yapping, and Lily just dips in tears. Rowan's already moved on. His brain is on that Sigma grind, constantly sprinting toward the next big play. He's farming data on mana storage and new environments. In the garden, his leaf levitation is already hitting different. Practice is paying off. Suddenly, he clocks a purple mana trail. Some random is invading the grounds. Rowan's perception? Out-trin. It's the OG big guy, but his mana just flatlines. Two guys are whispering about something called the Union. Go inside, act normal. Robert is frozen. No answers, just pure bad vibes and a major open loop. Afternoon session? Canceled. Amy finds our boy and drops the bomb. He's the special reader today. It's go time. Something is wrong. Amy's warm energy has completely evaporated. She's stone cold, and Rowan is sensing a massive red flag. His gut is screaming. The Union, the lockdown, it's all connected. He's on edge, and the tension is peaking. Amy's waiting. Zero small talk. She gives his fit a quick look, then tells him to move. No turning back. Is it Caroline? Silence. They're heading to the annex, a separate shelter that feels like a straight-up horror movie. Rowan hits the annex and locks up. The energy is oppressive. This isn't just a feeling. The mana is rotten. Everyone here is sus. The big guy escorts him in. Rowan catches Amy's face one last time. Everything is off. No windows. Pitch black. Rowan is staying strapped with his mana sense. Then he hears the vice director's voice. They walk into a ritual altar. Sit and read. Then Rowan clocks it. A massive pit in the room's center. A dark hole descending into nothing. It's loaded with more dark mana than he's ever felt. He starts reading anyway. The passage is pure atmospheric dread. As he speaks, the dark mana in the pit starts gathering toward him. Emotion slams him like a wave. But wait, he's being drained. The pit is eating his mana with every word. He's getting weaker, but stopping means the Union wins. Time for a high IQ out-trend play. Redirect the flow. It works! Rowan's in control, farming the external mana to stay alive. He's stalling for time, waiting for the move. The ritual leaders are getting antsy. It should be over. They send someone to check. Rowan knows they're coming. Plot twist. They burst in and dive straight into the pit. What kind of monster is being fed down there? The housemaster gets slapped. The ritual leader is fuming. Rowan drops into the pit, and his whole world shatters. Real human sacrifices. Pauline is there. Then Blake storms in, demanding to know why the directors are dead. This villain killed them for trying to run. All for some cursed fruit that failed to grow. Absolutely devious behavior. Blake pulls his sword from Pauline. Rowan remembers. That's the weapon Blake said was being used elsewhere. Total betrayal. Rowan goes full mob psycho. 100% rage. He deletes the guard instantly and starts walking toward Blake. Absolute aura. This 10-year-old is radiating terrifying dark aura. Blake is mid-monologue when Rowan blitzes him with insane, child-defying speed. The fight halts. Rowan sees the cursed tree and loses it. He dives into the memories, trapped inside the wood. He sees the horror of the lost children. Then, a glimpse of his future self, a fully grown Ronin staring back. The memory snaps. He's back, but something shifted. He's reconnected with a feeling he thought was gone forever. He remembers Pauline's words. Love stays even when memories fade. You're only alone if your heart is truly empty. Reality hits. Blake's sword is at his throat. The villain is acting smug, impressed that Rowan is so sharp. The ultimatum: join the cult or die. Rowan's already planned this man's funeral. Where would we go? He asks. Another farm, another tree. Welcome to the Lutel, a fanatic cult obsessed with using dark magic to change everything. Rowan asks with empty eyes, "Did you build the tree?" Blake laughs. He's just a loyal little errand boy. Blake has zero shame. He murked the main character Rowan's mom figure and still expects a team-up? Rowan shuts that down instantly, so Blake crashes out and goes for the throat. This man used to treat Rowan like family, but now, zero hesitation. He is trying to send a 10-year-old to the lobby without even blinking. Pure villain behavior. Absolute peak aura. Rowan catches the blade with 2 fingers using insane mana control. Blake's brain is literally short-circuiting, while Rowan calmly asks if he was the one who ended Pauline. Rowan snaps the steel like a toothpick and tells him he is not seeing tomorrow. The coldness is unmatched. He is just a 10-year-old grieving his mom. Then he lands a magical sucker punch. Blake is officially cooked. Rowan slices him in 2 without a word. But the vibe shifts. His senses tingle as a high-level squad rolls in to judge the entire scene. Enter Oscar, the vice captain with massive presence. He spots Rowan and immediately asks if the kid is using telekinesis. Rowan just blinks, like the question was way too personal. Oscar asks if he learned that magic from the cult, but Rowan says he just figured it out. Oscar is losing it because that is the most unhinged, high-tier talent he has ever seen. Oscar realizes Rowan is not lying. Rowan starts out-trapping the vice captain, clocking Oscar's rank just from his badge, and casually dropping facts about their secret recon operations. This kid's IQ is infinite. Rowan flexes his telekinesis, making the pros rethink their entire lives. Meanwhile, the squad realizes the demonic tree was grown in record time, and the binding spell was somehow shattered. There are 0 mana traces left behind. Rowan stands there marinating in guilt, staring at the trees that used to be people. He asks Oscar how deep this conspiracy actually goes. Oscar is watching him closely. Any normal kid would be shaking and crying right now, but Rowan is built different. He is completely locked in and focused on his next move. Rowan casually asks to join the Faith Division. Oscar thinks the kid is just in shock, but honestly, Rowan is masking his emotions better than most elite adults in the Union. Before leaving the bodies behind, Rowan spots a single gold coin on the dead vice director. He loots it without even breaking his stride. That is pure main character energy. Outside, the report comes in. The Faith Division is untouched, but the cult side took 13 losses. 3 people from the shelter are gone. The cleanup is starting to get messy. Plot twist: Amy is now a top suspect alongside the cult big shots. Turns out the high priest did not break the ritual. Someone else forced it to collapse from the inside. Nobody can explain how the whole place collapsed. It is a total mystery. When Oscar asks where he wants to go, Rowan chooses the library. Time for a major lore dump. They are chilling in the library, but Oscar notices something sus. There are 0 books here about mana cultivation. So how did this kid actually learn to manipulate the world's energy? Rowan basically says, "I am just smart. I figured it out." Oscar has to respect the grind. This 10-year-old is clearly a generational talent who just ate the whole magic system. Rowan walks him through the whole timeline, from arriving at the shelter to the moment Pauline passed her hidden abilities down to him. The puzzle pieces are finally coming together. Oscar is still baffled. Rowan has 0 official training, yet he soloed 2 cult members, including Blake, a high-tier swordsman. His power scaling is already breaking the charts. Breaking a high priest's ritual is not something you just do by accident. Plus, Rowan is using telekinesis without even saying a single spell word. That is top-tier silent casting. The craziest part? He is not even tired. He just rewrote the laws of magic and did not even break a sweat. Now, Rowan wants to know the dark truth behind the tree. It is a ritual device designed to farm human life. It produces a fruit made of pure condensed mana. Basically a permanent stat boost that is worth a fortune on the black market. Eating that fruit gives you a massive, permanent boost to your mana capacity. The reading sessions were actually a stabilization technique to make the harvest even higher quality. Rowan connects the dots, and it is grim. Those trees were not just plants, they were actual human beings. His reading was literally helping the ritual consume them. Oscar is genuinely impressed by the kid's high IQ. He got to the truth faster than the pros. Then Rowan asks what telekinesis actually is, since he has been doing it subconsciously. Oscar explains it is just moving things with mana. Rowan tries it, and everything clicks. He has been using magic this whole time without even realizing it. The accidental aura farming is actually insane. Now Oscar remembers Rowan's request. The kid wants to join the Faith Division. After being betrayed by everyone, why join the Union? Rowan is honest. He does not trust the organization, but his mana tells him that Oscar is a pure person with good vibes. Oscar warns him that trusting people based on vibes will get him sent to the lobby, but Rowan stands his ground, claiming he is the GOAT at reading people's true intentions. It is not that simple. Oscar cannot just let a kid into their black ops. He tells Rowan that raw talent is not everything in this world. You need more than just high stats. Rowan immediately goes into sulking mode. Oscar explains that making exceptions for outsiders is a bureaucratic nightmare, especially when the candidate is literally 10 years old. Rowan hits him with the ultimate question. Is age really more important than actual ability? Oscar pauses. The kid just diffed 2 grown men, but the Union still cares about age. Rowan does not miss a beat. Edgar already took out the shelter owners, so Rowan knew he was next. In his world, hesitating means you are the one getting cooked. Oscar asks if emotions clouded his judgment, but Rowan disagrees. He says his emotions actually made things clearer. Those men were monsters, and he was just the one delivering the justice. Rowan claims it was the only fair outcome. But is his current power level enough to survive the Union's heavy hitters? He's not just a killer, he's a Sigma who owns his body count. Oscar tries to guilt trip him, but Rowan just stares him down. It was necessary, he says, with 0 hesitation. Executions are just a part of the job, Rowan spits, locking eyes with Oscar. That's exactly what the Union does. Oscar shook because this 10-year-old just dropped a truth bomb that actually makes sense. Oscar breaks down the Union's true mission: total happiness and global peace. It's a literal impossible dream, but they're chasing that bag regardless. They want a safe, stable world for every future generation. Even if they never reach the goal, they keep grinding. Oscar is genuinely impressed by Rowan's high IQ understanding. He reveals the Grave, a powerful, shadowy group of ops currently threatening the entire kingdom's safety. That cult was just the tutorial. The Union's 1st Division is already dismantling the Grave, piece by piece. Oscar's convinced that with Rowan's help, they might finally be able to finish the job for good. Rowan's like, "Where do I fit in?" Oscar keeps it simple. Pull up to the Union, prove your worth, and earn that spot. Until then, it's all about reaching his max potential. Meeting over. Mission cleared. Oscar announces the tongue shelter ops are finished. The darkness is gone, and operations are back to normal. He gives the signal, and the division starts moving out like absolute units. Oscar summons Sienna, an absolute 10 out of 10 elf baddie. Rowan is stunned because her blue mana is literally radiating. She's glowing. Oscar's orders? Get the kid to the Union safely. Let the legendary journey begin. Rowan's luck is insane. Every man there would sell their soul to swap places with him. Sienna is all business, though. "Pack your stuff," she commands, keeping that ice-cold pillar of faith energy. Her tone is sharp, daring him to waste her time. Rowan's got 0 bags to pack, though. He hits her with a direct question about her race. "Are you a dark elf?" 0 filter. He blurts out that she's way too bright for a dark elf. Sienna's confused. His perception is built different. She claims it's his bloodline doing the work and keeps the mystery locked down. Rowan tells the team to stay safe, and the stone-cold killers actually go quiet. It's too wholesome. Soon, he and Sienna are camping in the wild, the calm before the massive storm. Sienna hands him a handcrafted sheath she secretly made. Rowan gets so hyped, he starts treating her like actual royalty. Our boy is officially in respect mode, because that gift was a total W. Calling her Your Majesty was a miss, so he settles on just Sienna. It's awkwardly wholesome. The cold-blooded assassin actually has to turn away to hide how much he just ate with that move. Sienna's watching him spin his broken blade with telekinesis like, what is this glitch in the Matrix? Rowan mentions it's just telekinetic magic, but Sienna knows it's something way more cracked than that. Magic doesn't even cover it. Sienna explains that his power is legitimately one of a kind. He's out-training the entire magic system without even trying. This isn't just talent, it's a fundamental rewrite of mana rules. Most mages need chants and circles, but Rowan just does it. No training wheels required. This level of raw mana control belongs to the ancient elves, the OGs from before the race even split. She looks into his eyes and drops a bomb. His parents were definitely not normal people. That hits different. Rowan goes silent, and the next day, they finally arrive at the massive Union hub. This isn't a base, it's a whole city. Sienna shows off the residential and commercial districts, but the real flex? The absolute units walking the streets. Every race on the continent is gathered here. The world's strongest warriors and mages are camped here to protect everyone from the grave. They call it the Sword and Book of the Continent. It's where the ultimate brawn meets the brains. Rowan is absorbing everything until Director Lazarus intercepts them. He drags Rowan into a suspiciously bright room for a private chat. Rowan's instincts are screaming. He knows something is up with this room. Rowan instantly flags the vibes. He knows the Union is full of heavy hitters, but Lazarus feels different. The kid's observation skills are already at a max level peak. He's not missing a thing. Lazarus has high aura, but it's not flashy. It's perfectly controlled. 0 mana wasted. That's way scarier than any big display. Rowan starts power scaling him in his head, wondering just how cracked this guy is. Lazarus grabs Rowan's hand, and the mana control is insane. It's the same thing Rowan does, but on a god-tier level. Rowan feels the gap immediately. This man is a literal mana manipulation maestro. While Rowan's drawing stick figures, Lazarus is painting masterpieces. Instead of being scared, Rowan is hyped. He didn't know this power could go this far. He's practically vibrating with excitement to learn more. Lazarus spots the coin, but Rowan sets the record straight instantly. He didn't steal it. It belonged to his grandma. He's just taking back what's his. No cap, he's standing on business here. Lazarus asks to see the emblem, but Rowan's body freezes. Lazarus has stitched their mana together, locking him in place without moving a muscle. It's the most polite prison cell Rowan's ever been in. Rowan thinks fast. If he can sink the gravity and mana pressure, he might escape. He tries it and actually slips out. He's out-trinning a director's trap at age 10. Absolute legend behavior. Lazarus is impressed. But Rowan's annoyed because he just copied the director's technique. He wants original moves. But Lazarus is even more hyped because Rowan learned a top-tier skill in mere seconds. Lazarus sees the emblem, and his mana control actually flickers. Rowan catches it instantly. The director thanks him for real, because that coin solved a mystery he's been chasing for years. Big lore reveal! Rowan asks, "Are you the strongest?" Lazarus just laughs it off, calling himself an old raccoon. Rowan takes it literally, missing the joke. But Lazarus admits the 17 captains are actually terrifying monsters. The commander is on a different level, and the governor is even higher. Compared to those absolute beasts, Lazarus is just a raccoon. Rowan asks to come back for more questions later. Lazarus says sure, just book an appointment. Rowan files him under good and strong, the ultimate praise. He walks out feeling like joining the Union was the best move of his life. Solid vibes. Time to see his new home, the Union Academy. It's where elite kids train while their parents are on missions. This isn't your average school. It's a breeding ground for future world-class warriors. They teach swords, magic, and martial arts from the ground up. 5 years here will turn Rowan into a nightmare for his enemies. The second school is mentioned, Rowan's eyes light up. Next day, Rowan is dripped out in his new uniform, looking fresh. He meets Daphne, the head of academic affairs. Turns out, she's a huge deal. He's officially ready to start his legendary grind. The elective options are stacked: mana manipulation, swordsmanship, and astronomy. Rowan's eyes light up at this menu of knowledge. If Rowan masters all three, is he officially the strongest student in history? Imagine checking every box on the curriculum. Daphne's jaw literally hits the floor. "Kid, are you insane? This workload is suicide. Fail once, and you're cooked." But our boy is just chilling with high aura. He genuinely doesn't get why studying is hard. Daphne's looking at him like he's an alien. Most kids eat dirt to avoid homework, but he's built different. She tries to warn him about the grind, but he's standing on business. Finally, she just gives up and accepts the list, thinking, fine, let him learn the hard way. She leads him to his first class. Rowan's eyes are darting everywhere, scanning the room. He notices it immediately. Every single kid here has way denser mana than him. This confirms his theory. The body is the problem, not his skill. Daphne introduces him as the new transfer. Rowan steps up, getting flashbacks to his old reading sessions. He drops a polite, wholesome intro, and bro, his voice is pure silk. It's so smooth it literally touches the teacher's heart. Look at this little Sigma already rizzing the faculty. Once he takes his seat, the lesson begins. Daphne tells the class to open page 24. She asks Rowan to read, knowing his background. He opens the book and freezes. It's the exact same book Amy used. His mind flashes back to the shelter and his elegant tone. But now he's feeling some type of way. Amy, the girl who taught him, was a traitor. Still, our boy is mature. He's wondering if he should give her a chance to explain. He realizes people are more complicated than textbooks. That's some deep thinking for a kid. By the time he finishes reading, the room erupts. The entire class is clapping. Even the teacher is gushing about his talent. They really snagged a gifted one. After class, kids are like, "Yo, you're insane." Daphne is never impressed, but you had her shook. Fans everywhere. Then a short-haired girl with green eyes approaches. Something clicks. He recognizes her from his earlier vision. She's Sophie Powell, the class president. She notices his tiny dagger and asks about his elective. "Are you trying to join the union?" Rowan's confused because he just wanted to learn everything. But now he's curious. Does he need swordsmanship to join the top tier? Sophie gives him a weird look. Like, "Bro, are you for real right now?" Next scene, they're at the training grounds. Suddenly, the students bolt toward the instructor. "We're going ahead!" they yell. But here's the wild part. They're all using mana to boost their speed. Rowan's eyes light up. "Oh, we're doing this?" He activates his mana and literally zooms past everyone. Total out-trin behavior. Even Sophie is stunned because his speed is unnatural. Meanwhile, our boy is just having the time of his life. He's laughing and challenging everyone to catch him. All this commotion catches the instructor's eye. Diego sees this tiny kid flying across the field. I need to watch this one. Moments later, the race ends. Everyone is gasping for air and cursing their lives. But Rowan is just chilling. He's happy to find mana users. But Sophie is having a crisis. Is this kid even human? The way he accelerated and lapped everyone was demonic. Rowan notices her staring and asks, "Did you enjoy the race?" He's literally aura farming now. Sophie is internally screaming. This little demon just dunked on us and asks if it was fun? The instructor finally introduces himself. Diego Sanchez, the legendary swordsmanship master. Rowan is hyped to learn from a pro. Diego tells everyone to grab a wooden sword. The other kids are exhausted from the death race, but Rowan is just standing there, frozen. "Kid, move your ass," Diego says. But Rowan is hesitating, looking at that sword like it's a monster. He's having PTSD flashbacks of Blake, and Diego sees the fear. "A sword is just a tool," Diego says. "It has no intentions, only the character of the wielder. You need to face this fear." And damn, that actually hit different. He has a sudden realization. If Blake beat me with a staff, would I fear staffs? He figures out that swords aren't the enemy. It's the person behind them. He walks up and grabs the blade. He doesn't need to be a legend, Just stop running. Diego notices his natural talent in the grip, but his willpower is still lacking. Sparring time. / Diego drops the bomb. / Rowan is paired with Sophie. / The class starts betting that Sophie is going to absolutely destroy him. Sophie takes a professional stance, eyeing him like a hawk. Rowan's impressed. So this is real swordsmanship. It feels totally different from the terrifying trauma with Blake. He adjusts his own blade, wondering what good even means as he falls into a stance. The second he moves, Diego and Sophie's eyes go wide. Pure shock. He just pulled off a perfect neutral stance first try. That should be impossible for a beginner. Sophie is shook, but her family pride is on the line. She charges in. Sophie attacks, fully committed. Rowan dodges. She swings again. He dodges. She aims for the chest, but he's already gone. He's reading every single frame. She tries a different angle. Nope. He saw that coming too. She's getting frustrated because he's reading her like an open book, blocking and dodging everything effortlessly. It's like he sees the future. Sophie is pushed back and mentally breaking. Her every move was predicted. Finally, she admits defeat and asks for a rematch. They talk afterward, and she's genuinely impressed. They fought 4 times and split it 2-2. Sophie's actually excited now. She finally found a rival worth her time. The class is hyped because magic is next. Time to rest, right? But Rowan asks if this is the union's most important class. Everyone stares like he's got 2 heads. Bro, the teacher is so high level, we can't learn anything. Rowan's like, how bad can he be? The students realize he knows nothing about the world. This is bad. They explain the teacher is a former commander. / The legendary Professor Arthur himself. / Cut to the class in session. / The atmosphere is heavy with pure power. Sophie whispers that this guy is the Chuck Norris of magic. Rowan analyzes the professor's mana. It's denser than the director's. Who would win in a mana clash? The prodigy or the legend? Rowan's already looking for the union's final boss. Bro wants smoke via arm wrestling. Arthur, the magic prof, warns his class is absolute brain rot for most. But Rowan's got that main character energy, eyes glowing because he actually wants this. Arthur respects the grind, but drops a bomb. Magic means quitting the sword path. It clicks. That's why the NPC classmates were side-eyeing him. Sophie explains the real lore. Mastering magic requires a literal galaxy brain level of knowledge. It's a total debuff to your health. Even prodigies take 10 years to get certified. Joining the union post-grad? Most students are already cooked. The barrier to entry is insane. First class? Not enough. You need second class minimum. Rowan just shrugs and goes, bet. I'm hitting 3rd class before graduation. Room goes silent. Bro doesn't realize 3rd class is high aura territory. Arthur hides a laugh, explaining swords are for combat, but magic is pure wisdom. Arthur flexes a complex fire arrow formula, but Rowan spots a flaw instantly. He's seen this logic before in the ritual pit. Out-trin on day 1? Arthur is shook. Most students are too mid to see the error. He demos the spell, and a fire arrow ignites. Pure hype visual. But Rowan sees the instability. It's flickering like a cheap LED. Arthur explains, 1 tiny math error and your whole mana bar is wasted. He adds the missing variable, and boom! The arrow goes Sigma mode, massive and terrifying. The class is mesmerized. It's literally too hot to handle. This is the mage grind. Memorize or perish. One fireball is a massive strain on the mental. It's high-stakes aura farming with zero room for error. Compared to swords, magic has too many nerfs. Sophie notes that buffing a blade is easy mode. Magic? It drains your battery faster than 5G. Power is capped by your mana pool. Rowan realizes he's in trouble. His mana is low-tier trash. Is his mage dream already cooked? He's looking for a cheat code, a way to bypass the system. Arthur tests him. What's the core of a spell? Rowan knows it's the formula. But who memorizes math mid-fight? That's where magic circles come in. They're the shorthand. Suddenly, Rowan remembers those tattoos on the director. Not a midlife crisis. Those tattoos were permanent magic circles for instant casting. Circles are the symbols. Formulas are the source code. Is chanting just verbal code? Arthur is stunned. This kid is speedrunning the entire curriculum. His intuition is actually off the charts. While others can't find their wands, Rowan's out here explaining linguistic conversion. The formula is the blueprint. Chanting is the activation key. Arthur's beaming. Most spend years reaching this realization. Chanting is about infusing mana into the very rhythm of your voice. He drops a vocal fireball. Pure power. Speed and emotion dictate the output. Rowan is locked in. He's never seen anything this peak. Worried he's scared the kid, Arthur asks if he's quitting. Hell no! I'm more hyped now! Class starts with ancient languages. The real grind begins. Decoding ancient texts is pure despair. Sophie is losing her mind, regretting her entire schedule. The academic toll is real. Rowan? He's chilling. His schedule is a nightmare with 0 breaks, yet he's unfazed. His roommate is some guy named Lucas, totally unknown. Back at the dorm, the grind never stops. Rowan's trying to rewrite the laws of magic to fit his low mana. He's building a new system, and he actually cooks. A functional spell appears. It's a massive W, but the physical recoil is absolutely devastating. The spell sends him straight to the Shadow Realm. Lucas walks in to find Rowan slumped. Meanwhile, in his head, Sienna is calling out. Sienna is feeling the guilt. They thought he was a god-tier prodigy who could handle the pressure. But they pushed him too far. Rowan finally respawns. Lucas is hovering over him like a nervous hen. Bro is just glad he doesn't have to deal with a corpse. I'm Lucas von Parcell. He's the roommate, and he's relieved Rowan isn't dead. Finding a body on day 1 would be a major vibe kill. Why the concern? Lucas's dad, the vice captain, ordered him to guard Rowan's soul. He's basically a high-tier babysitter trying to score points. Lucas is a unit. Looks like a senior, but he's a freshman. He's 2 years older, but seems chill enough to trust. Why's he still here? Bro has failed attendance twice. He's a professional class dodger and totally allergic to opening a book. Legendary behavior. Lucas asks if the magic practice backfired. The room looks like a war zone. Rowan admits he tried a fireball. Then everything went black. Lucas is a sword main and wishes Rowan would just use his blade talent. But Rowan notices Lucas's mana density is high aura, totally jacked. Rowan feels the pressure. He's falling behind the heavy hitters. He tries to get up for class, but Lucas initiates the skip protocol. Time for a food buff. Lucas insists on a recovery meal. Rowan roasts him. This is why you failed twice. You're a skip glitch master. Suddenly, Rowan senses a faint mana signature. The curiosity hits. They head to a magic shop where every item is radiating pure energy. Lucas is sneezing his lungs out while Rowan realizes his bank account has 0 aura. Completely, utterly cooked. Lucas proves he's a total Sigma, offering to pay. Rowan tries to finesse by asking for the whole shop. Lucas pulls out peasant change, but it's enough for one item. Rowan spots an egg with high aura runes. The mana signature is pure murky hype. It's the Stone of Galatia, basically cheap trash for fancy home decor. It's a useless paperweight because it won't hatch. A mystery creature is caged inside, but nobody cares anymore. Breaking the seal requires a legendary unique spell. Rowan is hooked, smelling a major power-up opportunity. These runes are out-trin, 12 times more complex than a fireball. Lucas just thinks it's a solid weapon. Rowan secures the mystery egg and heads to the clock tower. That place is built different. Peak architecture. The governor has peak high aura. Rowan realizes he needs some serious aura farming to reach that king-level status. His eyes scream determination to stand among legends. The duo watches the sun dip behind that massive watchtower. Visible from the whole Union, the tower is insane. Rowan asks about the red hands on the clock. Lucas struggles to use his 2 brain cells, but Rowan decodes the ancient symbols. It's Kingdom Year 262. Lucas is a local, but knows nothing. Rowan uses big brain energy to confirm the date and time perfectly. Our boy ate that decoding challenge in 1 minute. 7:20 p.m., June 14th. Lucas was always clueless. This tower is ground zero for the apocalypse. Rowan's vision showed total destruction on June 14th, 10 years later. Back at the dorms, Lucas hits the gym. He might skip class, but the physical grind never stops. Lucas hates feeling sluggish, but Rowan is spiraling. That dark vision of the future is impossible to forget. It wasn't a nightmare. It was a prophecy. Rowan enters his mind palace to change the doomed timeline. Using his big brain energy, he reconstructs every tiny detail of the tower with perfect 3D accuracy. He maps out every death trigger, from collapsing roofs to structural weak points. No detail is left behind. He's a detective from hell, stitching reality and the dark vision together to find the true cause of ruin. He enhances the memory, dreading the sorrowful nightmare. For a second, he hesitates to replay the absolute trauma. Then he sees them, Sophie, Lucas, and Sienna, all lifeless. He absolutely refuses to accept this future. He feels weak and pathetic. To avoid being a failure, he hunts for his future rank in the data. Using high-level analysis, he shifts the memory's camera angle. He's diving deep into the burning Union's secrets. All details locked. He zooms in on future Rowan's chest, desperate to see that final rank badge. Pure horror. His blood runs cold. Future Rowan is bloodied, with a gaping, gore-filled wound where his badge belonged. He's destined for a gruesome death, too. Traumatized, he finally withdraws from the nightmarish mind palace. Consciousness returns, but his soul is crushed. Is this the end of the kingdom and the entire continent? Humanity's extinction is near. The tree is a cursed black magic creation, and a mysterious hooded figure is watching. That hooded figure holds the key. Rowan needs to rewrite destiny and forge a new future immediately. Strategy 1. Change himself. If he avoids the Union's black suit, maybe the butterfly effect saves everyone. Management Bureau red suit? or the legendary Commander Whitesuit. He has 10 years to reach the top. Next day, back to reality. Lucas warns him that Professor Daphne wants a private word before class starts. Lucas dips, leaving Rowan alone. A private meeting with the professor? This usually means something is going south. Daphne has major mom energy. Lucas snitched about his health, so she marked it as medical leave. Super clutch. She begs him to drop electives, but Rowan keeps the grind. Could a white suit Rowan solo the current governor? Rowan's hype is maxed out, while Daphne is over here drowning in guilt. He just smiles it off like a true Sigma, promising he's built different. Training? Bro does it in his sleep. Mana cultivation is literally just breathing to him now. His aura is farming itself at this point. Mission: buff the homies. He walks in and the whole class is looking at him like he's cooked. But Rowan's already looking at their potential. If he can turn these background characters into god-tier units, they might actually survive the apocalypse. It's level up season for everyone. No cap. Time to cook. He calls out the magic nerds who wouldn't touch a sword to save their lives. Isidore and the gang are sweating. Next, he's summoning the sword bros to a magic lecture. The fact that the Academy's golden boy knows every name? High aura behavior only. Sophie's being nosy, but Rowan's logic is simple. Dual classing is the only way to survive. He's worried he's asking too much of these side characters. The girls? Sold. Rowan's protagonist Riz is at 100%. The guys, though? They're side-eyeing the extra work hard. Why bother learning magic now? Actions speak louder. He targets his roommate Lucas, a literal meathead, and tells him to just try one magic class. Pure sincerity is his superpower. It actually worked. The magic dean walks in and the room is packed. No empty seats? In this economy, Rowan is definitely cooking something devious. The dean is pumped to see a full house. Rowan's goal? Prove that magic isn't some gate-kept mystery. He's about to show them the vision. Rowan asks to take the stage for a demo. The professor just laughs and lets him cook. He has no idea he's about to witness a glitch. Lucas is low-key embarrassed, but mostly proud. Meanwhile, outside the hall, the VIPs are pulling up. Something big is definitely about to go down. Director Lazarus is on the scene, monitoring the situation. Translation: he's here to see if Rowan is actually the anomaly they think he is. Sienna's here on her day off, and even Sword Master Diego ditched his training grounds. Everyone wants a piece of the Rowan hype train today. Even the principal is tagging along. This lineup is stacked with absolute units, all just to see a first year attempt some basic magic. Or so they think. Daphne warns them to keep it quiet, but the second she cracks that door, the heat hits like a truck. The atmosphere is literally catching fire. A massive crimson fireball is just vibing in the air, eating oxygen. In the middle of the chaos, Rowan looks like he's having the time of his life. Fireball as a freshman? Bro is completely out-trend. This spell isn't even in the curriculum yet. The dean is literally forced to throw up a barrier. Normal students don't touch this until year 5. Even the gifted ones struggle with fire arrows. Rowan just skipped 5 years of progression instantly. The VIPs are paralyzed. The principal realizes this isn't just magic. It's pure, refined energy. It's giving holy magic vibes. And it's terrifyingly beautiful. Swordmaster Diego can feel the density. This isn't normal. Director Lazarus is witnessing common sense being absolutely demolished in front of his eyes. The fireball isn't even flickering. The stability is god tier. It's a simple spell, sure, but holding it like this? That's some legendary aura farming right there. Sienna is mesmerized. How did a kid from a corrupt shelter learn to manifest something this advanced? She's completely entranced by the dancing flames. She remembers his collapse and wants him to chill, but nobody stops him. The vibe is too peak. They're all just watching greatness unfold. No one wants to break the spell. They're all captivated by the display. But don't worry, our boy has 100% control over this mini sun. He's pumping mana using a custom technique, focusing on the flow rather than the boom. He's making sure this doesn't turn into a nuclear event. While holding a literal death ball, Rowan's actually distracted by the Dean's barrier. He's analyzing it like a pro, while everyone else is panicking. He's getting intrusive thoughts. What if I just yeet this fireball into the barrier? Bro is literally testing his limits mid-class. Instead of nuking the room, he casually asks the professor what his defensive spell is called. The absolute audacity to talk while casting this! The professor is in shock. Maintaining that level of magic usually takes total focus. Yet Rowan's out here having a full tea-time conversation. Arthur suffocates the flames with his barrier before things get any wilder. Rowan isn't even mad. He's just in awe of how clean the move was. The room finally exhales. Arthur is torn. Does he yell at the menace? Or give him a medal for breaking every law of magic? Director Lazarus walks out clapping. He identifies the move as the Azure Flame Barrier, acknowledging Rowan's insane display of power in front of everyone. Rowan thinks the name is Fire. But when asked about his own spell, he just says it's a basic fireball. Is Rowan already at Swordmaster level? Or is he just getting started?